Hi guys, it's me, Sally. I found something really big, so I wanted to come on and share this with you right away. This is huge. So, it's good news, I promise you. So, I wanted to take you to Exodus chapter 19. I won't read the whole chapter, I'll let you do that, but there's a couple verses I wanted to point out to you. Verse 4, it talks about, and how I bore you on eagle's wings. That goes along with Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 11. And also, it's the same as Revelation chapter 12, verse 14. It uses the same language as when Israel goes into the wilderness to flee from the Antichrist. And it says that they were born on eagle's wings, that he brought them to the wilderness, to a place where he has prepared for them for those last 3 years of the tribulation. Verse 6, it talks about, and you shall be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. That goes along with 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. And so, but verse 10 is what I want to hone in on. It says, then the Lord said to Moses, go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow. That's 2 days. Today and tomorrow, so that's 2 days. And let them wash their clothes. Verse 11, and let them be ready for the 3rd day. For on the 3rd day the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. So remember those words I just pointed out, was he says, go to the people, consecrate them today and tomorrow. So that's 2 days. And then the 3rd day, have them be ready. Verse 14, it repeats it. So Moses went down on the mountain to the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said to the people, be ready for the 3rd day. Do not come near your wives. Then it came to pass on the 3rd day in the morning. And then it talks about the thundering and lightning and a thick cloud on the mountain, a sound of trumpet that grew very loud, and the people trembled. Smoke ascended up like smoke of a furnace. The mountain quaked. Then the blast of the trumpet sounded long and became louder and louder. And Moses spoke to God, and God answered him by voice. Then the Lord came down on the Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain. And the Lord called Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. Okay. Those are the verses I wanted to point out. This won't be a long video, but it's a kicker. So, now let's go to John chapter 2. Verse 1. On the 3rd day, there was a wedding in Cana of Galilee. And I made a mistake. in my previous videos what I thought, and I also spoke it, and I want to apologize for this right now. This is actually talking about the Jews at the second coming. It's not talking about us with our wedding in heaven, because it mentions the third day. The church age is going to be 2,000 years. Israel will have to be ready at the second coming, which will be the third day. And it also mentions 2030 in this chapter. The 6 water pots, which is a reference to the 6,000 year time frame that I've showed you many times. 6,000 years. And the 7,000 years is the millennial kingdom. But they have to be ready at the 6,000th year. And it mentions 2030. It mentions 6 water pots, and it says they contained 20 or 30 gallons apiece. Now, I looked at every Bible I have. I've got an ESV, I have an NIV. I don't usually read from those two. And I also have a complete Jewish Bible, and I have a New King James and a New American Standard Bible. All of them say 20 or 30 gallons apiece. The only one that didn't was the King James Version. It said 2 or 3 firkins, and but I have a hard time believing that all these other versions are wrong. I like to look at multiple different translations, ESV, New King James is what I usually use. But I've also read from the New American Standard, and they all say 2030. And I find it hard. I'm just not convinced that they're all wrong, and only the KJV is right. It makes no sense. So the furlongs, I'm assuming, or the firskins, sorry, in the KJV is about 10 gallons a piece, basically. So you take 2 times 10 is 20, so that would be the 20, and then you take the 3 times 10, and that would be 30. So it is 2030. So it's just worded different in the KJV. So it mentions 2030. And Zebulun, those videos I did about Zebulun. Zebulun was one of the 12 tribes of Israel. So it's focused. It's on Israel. The focus is Israel, not the church. It's pertaining to the second coming, I believe. Zebulun is mentioned in verse 20 of chapter 30 of Genesis. There's your 2030. Also, Joseph is a type of Christ. He was sold for 20 shekels of silver, and Jesus was sold for 30 pieces of silver. I don't think that this is a coincidence. When the Lord showed me this, I really don't think that this is a coincidence. It just can't be. Maybe I'm just too hopeful, I guess. I don't know. And I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think. I really am. There's just too many from what he showed me. And especially when I read Exodus 19 today, I was like, oh my gosh, that's the third day. That's the same as John chapter 2. So that wedding in Cana is actually talking about at the second coming, when Jesus appears, and then they are going to get married. So I was like, wow. Okay. So I want to apologize because I really do think I made a mistake. I thought this was referring to our wedding in heaven. And I don't think it is now that I see this. So, but the great news is, of course, that would mean that the rapture has to happen this year. Of course, we don't know the day, when, or the hour, but I do believe that because it has to be 7 years before 2030. Now, could it be at the feast of, could it be the summer? Could it be today? Or this summer? Could it be the Feast of Trumpets? I don't know. Or could we go all the way to Passover time of next year? Resurrection Day. I don't know. It's whatever the Lord wants to do. But why do I say Passover time? Because that's when, roughly the time frame of when Israel will turn 76 years old from 1948, the day they were born. The nation became a nation in one day, and it was 1948. Abraham was born in 1948 BC, and when he was 75 years old, he was called out of his pagan country to come and start the nation of Israel, a people, a nation. And so he was called out. And so he was 75 years old. Well, that's the age of Israel right now. They are 75 years old. So I find that interesting. You know, I'm just thinking out loud about these things. But I can't be dogmatic. But with all these things that the Lord showed me, and about the 2030, I can't ignore it. I really can't. I'm hopeful. I'm going to hold on to my blessed hope. And you know, with all the other signs going on, we're at the point. This is, all the signs are coming literally to a point. All the convergence of everything. I mean, if this isn't it, I don't know. I can't see us going another year, 2 years. I really can't. 3 years, 4 years, 5, definitely no. I really can't with how fast things are going. There's just no way. So I'd like to know what you guys think. Maybe you guys think I'm crazy. I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy for Jesus. I just want to go home and be with my Lord and Savior. I want to see him face to face, and I can't wait. So, anyway, this is what I wanted to share. And I hope this blesses you, and go back and study it for yourselves. And I'm curious what you guys think. So, with that, that's all I wanted to share, and I love you guys, and let's keep praying for each other. And okay, and I'll be back on soon. All right, good night.